Everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another video over here on this YouTube channel. I wanted to make a video today talking about what I would like to see in MLB 21 the show. As of right now, when I'm recording this video for just recording's sake, it's December 27th, 12:56 p.m. Central Time. We have not gotten any official word on MLB 21. We haven't gotten any official word on the cover athlete, the release date, what platform it's going to be on. Nothing. We haven't gotten anything so far, and I wanted to make this video basically outline what I would like to see in MLB 21 the show. Comment below what are some ideas you would like to see in the game. When do you think the game's coming out? Do you think it's going to be multi-platform? I want to hear all that kind of stuff in the comment section below. Let's get some constant chatter going. I appreciate you watching this video. Before we jump into it, please like the video if you like what's going on to support me getting into other people's recommended channels. Otherwise, sub if you haven't already. That helps me a lot as well. So content, obviously, this year was absolutely incredible. This was without a doubt the most content we've ever gotten in an MLB The Show game before, and also the most amount of free content. And I really have to commend SDS again. Like, you look at Madden, you look at 2K, some other games, and this is a year more than any where a lot of people's wallets were a lot tighter because of COVID-19, maybe taking away hours of their job, maybe taking away their job, unfortunately, and yet SDS released the most amount of free content I've ever seen a video game release. So if there's any way that SDS can replicate that, I'm not expecting it to be as perfect as it was this year content-wise, but if there's any way they can somewhat replicate that next year, that would be fantastic. Now, what hasn't been fantastic lately is the gameplay. If you watch Twitch at all, if you watch YouTube, the general consensus around a lot of people playing the game right now is just isn't great. Now, I've had a lot of discussions on my channel about how do you want this game to be? It's a baseball video game. Do you want it to play like real baseball? Do you want it to play like a video game? And I think the best comparison that I've talked about, and some others have talked about as well, is that when you play Call of Duty, you don't want to get hit for a headshot and then watch the kill cam and see the bullet a foot and a half away from your head, but then it gravitates over and gets a headshot and you die. Now, video games are hard. Like, I'm not a programmer. I don't know what all goes into making the game the way it is, but I would love if like next year's game, another game in the future, if user input was rewarded a lot more than it is right now, because as of right now, it's more important to be early than it is to be perfect, which is kind of crazy. So going along the lines of gameplay, let's say we have perfect gameplay next year. Let's say user input is fantastic. Let's say pitching is fantastic. Even if that's not the case, even if we have the same engine we have right now, I want more things to grind for. Now, what does that mean? As of right now, we have Battle Royale, we have events, and we have ranked seasons. Those are the three modes. You can play online against people. Pretty much that's it. I want to see more implementations of kind of seasonal or like weekend stuff. I would love personally a weekend league in MLB The Show. I think that even though it's going to be really sweaty games, I think for my sake being a streamer, for other people's sakes being streamers and content creators, it's fun content for us to play. Not really fun to play because it's really stressful, but it's fun for viewers to watch as well. I mean, if you look at anytime watching MLB The Show catalog on Twitch, the viewership is always a lot bigger when there's tournaments going on, when there's competitive games being played. People like to watch competition at a high level, and Weekend League would bring that to the game. Now, another idea that I've talked about on my streams a lot is the idea of adding in, if they don't add in Weekend League, or even if they do, adding in purchasable tournament entries into MLB The Show. So what would that look like? That would be like a 10,000 stub buy entry. So let's say hypothetically, you watch this video, you routinely make championship series. You've never been a World Series player. You're routinely, let's say 750 to 850 is your 100 point scalar range. So if you're routinely around there, you can go purchase a ticket to enter a tournament with people that are around your skill level. Let's say it's an 8-person tournament, single elimination of people that are around that skill range. You start playing your games. Whoever ends up winning the tournament might get a stub reward. But what I would love to see added in more than anything, and something that I loved personally back in my days when I played Madden, was getting trophies for how you finished in a season. So for those who aren't familiar, in Madden, for example, let's say you're in All-Pro Division, you make the Super Bowl, you get an amount of trophies that you can put into a collection, and this collection would get, once you accumulated enough trophies, would give you a special player that you could only get, I mean, obviously via the auction block as well, but only at first you could get him by getting a certain amount of trophies added in. And I would love if trophies or like tickets were added into MLB The Show, and I would love them to even be non-sellable. I know that a lot of people are upset right now with the amount of cards that are 1 million stub and you can't get the cards, and there's the real exclusivity of that. But I think, especially playing ranked, if you came across someone that had, let's say, a 97 overall Joe Mauer that you could only get via tickets, that's a horrible idea. Joe Mauer should be inning program if he ever came back in the game. But my example being that it would be cool to have specific players awarded based on how well you play in tournaments, weekend league, ranked season, stuff like that. Another thing that I would love to see, and this is all really hoping the game play is better next year, even if it's not, I still want all these ideas added in. This is my idea of a perfect MLB The Show 21, so let me have my ideas. I would love to see an actually fully fledged out esports scene with MLB The Show. There's no, everybody knows that ESL was not a very well run tournament. I mean, right when you looked at the final bracket for the final ESL, I believe it was the Fall Classic, I can't remember what the name of the tournament was, but there were slots in the bracket that were just empty. I can't recall the player's name off the top of my head, but he got a free entry to the Elite Eight in the final tournament of the year with actual money on the line. He got a free pass because the bracket filter was horrible. So if the gameplay is better, I would like to see, now what does like an esports scene look like to me? Well, I want to get what Madden has with like club championships, for example. It'd be really cool to have every single Major League Baseball team have like a club championship type vibe, and then you battle it out to win the MLB The Show, theoretically, club championship. I would love if they had ladder tournaments. I essentially want more ways to just play competitively. As a viewer, you want to have different streamers and different YouTube videos you can turn on every day that are fun, competitive tournaments that you can watch and you can invest in. As a player of the game, I want there to be more ways to play competitively online, and hopefully that's something that can happen moving into MLB 21. Now, something that I don't think is talked about enough is franchise. And I mean, to be completely honest, you look across every single sports game, franchise is being neglected like crazy because there's just not any money in it. It's not Diamond Dynasty. It's not Ultimate Team. It's not something that requires you to put your credit card in the game and spend real money to upgrade your squad. Franchise is just, it's a passion project, and we need SDS to care about it again, essentially. Now, when I talk about franchise, what would I want to see in franchise mode? Well, I mean, here's just a couple of things. I would love for there to be more expansions into franchise mode. Like you make Major League Baseball bigger. You maybe add a third league down the road if you want to. Create a stadium needs to be a thing in franchise as well as online. I'll get into that in a second. The trade logic between CPU and the retirement logic needs to be a little bit better. Overall, one of my favorite franchise modes I've ever played goes back to Madden 2003. And in Madden 2003, when you booted up the game, there was people tailgating. There was like a real life TV feel to booting up this game. Like you were playing it, but it felt like you were turning on CBS to watch football on Sunday. And I would love for more of those realistic feels, like show people tailgating for the game starts, show like the fans a little bit more, maybe cut into the broadcast booth. I mean, there's a lot of ways they could upgrade the presentation of the game. I think another really fun angle with franchise mode 2 would be whatever team you choose, there's a theoretical TV station and news outlet that follows your team, like every Major League Baseball team has. And You could also, as the manager of that team, have post-game interviews where, based on what you say, it'll influence the amount of morale the fans have. It could then influence the amount of fans that go to games. That could influence your budget of how much money you have. So there could be a separate game included in franchise mode based on how you interact with the media, based on your team's performance. That could affect the financial stability of your team, the amount of fans who are investing in your team. There's a whole other side of franchise that just isn't being touched right now. I don't think it's happening in MLB 21, but this is what I would like to see video, so that's what I would like to see. Jumping back into Diamond Dynasty, I'm someone who cares about my jerseys a lot. I critique people's jerseys whenever I go online. You see in YouTube videos, you see in my streams, but with that same vein, I want more customization in Diamond Dynasty. I want there to be a third alternate jersey. Should you and your opponent, I don't know if the logic would work in the game, but both have light jerseys, it would give one of you the alternates so that it's offsetting, and that would be dope. I want logos to be added to the sleeve of your jersey. I want create a stadium in Diamond Dynasty. Now, what does that mean? Because that's a scary thought. I don't want creative stadiums because I want 230-foot green monsters in left and center field and 485-foot polo grounds in center and the longest backstop like Oakland has. I don't want weird configurations like that. I want a preset limitations and regulations that you can make your stadium, and not to have like a glare in the batter's eye. But what I more so want, and maybe this could just be something they could add to the other stadiums, is that I want there to be a real home field feeling to when you are playing Diamond Dynasty. Now, what does that mean? That means I want, when you load up the game, I want there to be like banners out in left field. I want there to be a logic that says, when you're the home team, this is four-time World Series champion, twitch.tv/John Doe, like whatever your team name is, or if your team name is I don't know, like the Salem Phantoms, the team that I've run on Twitch a little bit because I love the logos that Kasabi made. I'll have to shout them out in the description below. But like, I want there to be a real feeling of you, like, it's not just a video game. A lot of people, including myself, have invested a lot of our time into MLB The Show, and it would be cool to pretend that I'm the road team. Pretend I'm the road team and I'm booting up against a top 50 player. Right now, all I see is that top 50 calling card if they choose to even have that on. What if theoretically I saw 4 banners out in right field that showed the 4 World Series they have? What if I saw a retired number of like Juan Soto and his like stats or something? Now, it obviously wouldn't have to be in my face. I'd have to see it in like a replay or something, but make little personal touches to the game, because it'd be sweet. I think going along with personal touches and things that are fun to see, I've talked about this a lot, and honestly, of all the things in this video, if this was the one thing that was added, I would be ecstatic. What I would love to see added more than anything is the no doubt animation you get for home runs in moments in Conquest whenever you're playing offline, and franchise mode as well. I want that added into actual online ranked Diamond Dynasty. Obviously, this would only be used exclusively for no doubters, when there's the bat flip, when there's everything like that, because a lot of us play on strike zone 1, strike zone 2, and you don't see the entire batter. You don't see like the bat flip. You don't see him jogging out of the box. I want more immersive cuts like that, and there has to be logic for it in the game, because there's logic for it in moments. So why can it not recognize that online? I want, even if it happens to me, I don't care. I think that it would add a awesome shock value to the game for people that are watching it, for people that are playing it. I mean, just think about right now the difference of these two cuts I'm about to show you. Cut number 1 is me playing a game online. This is a no doubt home run that I just had. Now imagine cut number 2 is online. It's a 1-run game, and this is what it looks like for the 2-run walk-off shot. Imagine the Twitch chat, imagine the comment section below on a YouTube video. I mean, the possibilities are endless there. I could rant and rave about everything that I want in this game, and we all could, because I think something that I've recognized with the MLB community that I've been fortunate to be a part of for the last 9-10 months so far here, my first couple months on the internet for MLB The Show, there's a really tight-knit and passionate community behind this game. And if you reward that community with more ways to be immersed, more ways to play ranked online, more ways to be creative and show yourself. I mean, there's going to be the idiots that rock the clown car team. There's going to be idiots that rock the neon 1100 patterns of pinstripes, and the jerseys look absolutely awful. They'll always be there, but there's also the community of people who care about what their uniforms look like, who care about everything in the game. That, like, their personalization is how they express their love for baseball. There's people that make absolutely perfect, like, Houston Astros retro jerseys you play online, the Phillies jerseys online. I mean, the possibilities are endless if you give the players the tools to be creative. Just to close out on this video, I might make another video as well. I love what they did with prestiges this year. I've seen some people that have talked about different ways they could build on prestige, like instead of just adding +3s across the board, you get a catalog of points as the player, and you get to choose with this +20, where do I want to allocate all of this +20 at. That's all cool. Honestly, if they could just offer more prestige pass for players, and also, I mean, if we really want to get crazy, we saw evolution out of this year with Carlos Gonzalez, Eddie Matthews, or Dennis Eckersley, I believe, were the only 3. What if there was an evolution path in prestiging? So what if certain players had a secondary tier that they could prestige to and get even more attributed stats? Maybe they could get a new card art as well. The possibilities are endless, and I'm sure all of you watch this video are foaming at the mouth thinking of your own ideas as well. So please comment them below and let me know, because I'm a nerd and I would love to nerd out with everybody. I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks for taking time out of your day to click on this one, and I will see you in the next one.